Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very important announcement for the Talking Buckets TV crew. We're back for episode 4, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. 4 weeks of amazing basketball talk. And you might notice we have an extra chair here. We have a guest speaker today. Someone who knows basketball in and out.
LeBron!
Arguably one of the greatest, youngest basketball prodigies of our nation.
Yes, sir.
Dare I say the globe. Let's give a warm welcome for Noah! Thank you so much for joining us. We're pleased to have you.
Yes, sir.
Now on episode 4, we have, we did definitely switch up to Sunday, but that's because we had some breaking news for you guys. We'll touch on that in just a little bit. Then we'll be talking about our court vision, where we talk about 2 games in depth. Moving on to our Stat Central, followed by the People's Choice, where you guys provide us with your hot takes, your overall thoughts for the season, and overall kind of stat leaders and stuff like that. And finally, we'll go on to Draft Wars, our most anticipated segment of the show. So without further ado, let's get started, boys.
We're back.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we start our regularly scheduled programming, we have breaking news that we found out last night as well, and we're so excited to share it with you. Who wants to announce it?
Luka Doncic getting traded to the Lakers for Anthony Davis.
Now, we wanted to provide a special insight on this topic. So we brought in Noah. Noah, what do you think of the trade?
Defense is good.
Defense is good.
Yeah.
Very solid.
Anthony Davis, all-time
Anthony Davis
defenses. You know, he's
It's no
all-star. He's great.
Three bigs on the Mavs now. Crazy
So,
team.
who do you guys think actually won that trade overall? What do you think is the overall?
You know,
Accurate.
I think it was a solid win-win. I'm not gonna lie. Although Luka has generational talent, right? He's a generational talent. It still was a good trade for both because the Mavs were like, let's go in a win now situation, and so they needed a big to get those boards,
For sure.
right? And so getting AD got them the boards.
And like GM of the Mavs said, defense is key for building a championship team.
Yeah. And then Lakers, they just wanted something in return, something of equal value. So I mean, it was a pretty good trade. Kyrie and AD are good. Luka and LeBron would be like dangerous, but see how it goes. But I think it's a win-win from my point of view.
I think I can't really say if it's a win-win or a lose-lose or whatever team won right now because both are injured, so we can't really say who's better at this point of time.
Isn't Luka coming back now?
He should be. They're saying
I thought
he should be
AD
back
played.
for All-Star. AD's out too with a foot injury or something.
That's great.
Yeah.
I think the latest win-win trade we've seen was with RJ Barrett and OG Anunoby. I think that was the main thing I could compare it with. What I think of this trade is definitely a blockbuster trade, given how strong his players are, especially Luka Doncic going over to someone like LeBron James. And I think he definitely has development to do still, given that he's still young. How old is he right now?
25.
25. So he's still young. So he still has a little bit of development to go, but it's going to be really exciting seeing how they play together. Now, in terms of who I think won the trade, I think they won the trade in terms of getting the better player. Yes, they did. But what are they going to do with lack centers, where you're going to have LeBron James playing the 5? Or what's going on here?
Confusing. I don't know how they're gonna perform the center position. They have Markieff Morris. Yeah, he can play center, but that's like not his main primary position.
I mean, the Lakers still got Jackson Hayes, right? So the starting lineup would remain relatively the same, right? Markieff Morris is good, but he'd probably be either a bench player or he'd start instead of Ray. And then Maxi Kleber would just also be on the bench, depending on how well they fit, right? Team chemistry's a thing.
I'm assuming they're in the market for a big deal right now.
Yeah, I think
They are, but like having a backcourt is good and all, right? A LeBron, Luka backcourt and Austin Reeves backcourt is good.
It's crazy.
But they also don't have any centers, but I think they should be fine.
Yeah, because right now the game itself is not like a big man game necessarily. But you still need someone to pick up those boards, right? So we want to see how they overall.
And also like the chemistry, Luka, Kyrie, LeBron, AD, they both. Luka and Kyrie still like developing fully, but LeBron and AD have chemistry.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah, in terms of that, but I feel like LeBron should be able to mesh well. Hopefully, I know we haven't seen that in the past, but I know he said in the past that
All-Star games helped.
Yeah, we'll talk about the All-Star games eventually, but that's something that's interesting. Noah, your thoughts about the trade? Final thoughts of the trade? It's a good trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a win-win. Defense is good.
No.
Alright, cool. Alright, so let's get started on our regular schedule programming now. We're going to be talking about our court vision. So court vision, we decided to do 2 games instead of 4, that we can provide a more in-depth analysis of the games for you guys, rather than just looking at what happened. We want to see the impact and overall the future implications of the games. So the first game we looked at was Boston versus Houston. Very close game, 114 to 112. I think we ended on a buzzer beater, right?
Yeah,
Or something like
Floater.
that.
Zero
Yeah.
point 7 seconds.
Yeah. Now,
Solid.
let's start from the beginning, right? Right off the bat, what did you guys notice about the game? What do you guys think was the key theme for them winning this game?
3-pointers. Kristaps Porzingis timing the 3. Dylan Brooks getting his career high in 3s. You know, it was a
That's
3-point game.
That's pretty solid. I mean, it's pretty important nowadays, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I did see like Kristaps just getting the ball. He hit the first shot in the game.
3.
He just the unicorn. He just got it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a 3-point game nowadays. We've basically strayed away from the game of being a big man game, but overall, the 3-point percentage, you're definitely right. And down the stretch, it was really close overall. I don't think it was anyone's game, like, definitely until the end where we saw that floater by, was it by?
And then Thompson.
Man Thompson, right? So I think the main key to success was that 3-point percentage. And if you look at it historically, right, we see how the games change over time. We've seen the shift from the mid-range to the 3-point. And in terms of this game specifically, like, you're getting big men to shoot threes now. Can you imagine, like, Shaq and all these players back in the day shooting threes? Like, it makes it complete.
You can't even imagine
those
that.
bars.
Because
Kareem up the
Yeah,
bars.
could be Sky can run 3-pointer. Yeah. So I think
Just
it's
like Wemby, his shooting too.
yeah.
Wemby,
He's doing one-legged like floaters in the 3-point line. He's like messing with Giannis. It's insane. So I think definitely look at the historical context and the current context. We see that it's definitely changing the 3-point game.
Yeah.
But how is that gonna last? Do you guys think is it gonna be something that's changing over time? Do you think the big men are coming back?
Nah, big men are not coming back. The big men will evolve into point guards.
Yeah.
At this point in time, they're all just point. They're all. Let's be real. They're all just shooting guards. So from center to shoot small forward, they're all small
Yeah.
forwards, and then shooting guard and point guard, they're all point guards. There's only 2 positions at this point: point guard and small forward.
Yeah.
Because in the small forward, you can still shoot and you can still drive. It's like one of the most versatile positions, right? But you have to be really good at pretty much everything to be small forward, like LeBron and Kawhi, right? And then point guard, they're just like ball dominant and they want to shoot, pass. So those are like your 2.
on defense, center will stay. I think center will stay because you need a big man presence to get boards. You need blocks by the big man. Yes, smaller players can do it, but with the big man, you have a designated player just for that play.
I definitely agree because I feel that even though we have less of a structured game in terms of basketball positions, it's more position, less basketball like you're talking about. You still need that kind of defensive presence in the paint and having those second chance points and all that. I think the only reason we're a little bit biased to say that the big men are coming back is because the era that we're seeing right now with Chet and Wemby and all these other younger guys, they're just not big enough yet, right? They're not big enough yet to actually be like, oh, these guys are actual big men. Obviously, they're 7 feet tall.
If they turn
They're
into
7
like
feet tall.
Giannis.
Yeah, if they have like a Giannis, I'm not even saying they have to be that big. But the thing is, like, if you look at the physicality of the game, it's not the same as it was.
Dominant.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I enjoyed about basketball. That's why when I started playing, I played the power forward position. That's what
Big
I
man.
kind of big man team. Yeah. I kind of modeled that game after like Hakeem and all these players, right? I wasn't as good as them, but
Bro said Hakeem.
Yeah.
Like, you were not born.
bro, I was doing the
Bro,
dream shoot.
what are you
Yeah.
talking about?
Anyways.
It's all about that big.
Going back to the Boston versus Houston, who do you guys think was the player of the game overall? What do you guys think was the main contribution overall from which player?
For Boston, I would say Jaylen Brown, 28 points, dropped a nice 28 on Houston, but Houston still took the game. For Houston, I would say Dylan Brooks, is I think 21 points, 10 threes in this
10 years insane.
in one game.
Bro.
That's his career high.
Wait, how many points did he get?
21. I have to proof check that.
How did he
How do you get 21 points
How
and
did he
30
get
in-
Proof check that.
How did he get
Yeah.
It's at least 30 points.
It has to be.
I
know.
The math is not math.
No.
Alright, we'll be.
It was only 5.
We'll recheck
seven
and play
threes.
the screen.
It was
Yeah.
only 7 threes with
Yeah.
21 points.
Yes.
That makes more sense.
Regardless. Regardless.
What do you think?
Yeah, Jaylen Brown, Dylan Brooks.
Because I think one of the hot takes was, let's get your opinions on these two because we put this on the polls. Someone mentioned that Jason Tatum, I know he wasn't a huge performer this game, but he has the opportunity to become the strongest and best small forward in NBA history. And don't laugh at our people, bro. Thank you for the hot take.
We'll talk about it later.
Because the thing is, listen, no, we'll talk about it now. Because basically, if you look at his skill set and we look at, for example, past players like Kobe and MJ, he does a really good job with the mid-range, right? Obviously, there's different facets of his game that he needs to improve, but I don't think it's a crazy take. Is it a bit of a stretch? Definitely, but it's definitely on.
It's not crazy. Okay, I take back the laugh. It's not crazy.
Yeah.
Right? Nah, keep the laugh. It's not crazy. It's not crazy. It's just that
Surprising.
he's more of a shooting guard in my.
I think you're right.
Like he's not a small forward in my opinion. Is someone who can literally play power forward and shooting guard.
Yeah.
Jason Tatum is more of a shooting guard,
Point
and not point guard a little less. Shooting guard like a little bit of a power forward.
Yeah.
Whereas small forward, in my opinion, right, is gonna be entirely wrong. But it's like an equal balance of like he's able to dominate in the paint and dominate in like anything else, right?
That's not a crazy take. You're right. That's a good point. But in terms of this game, I think that's a pretty good synopsis. 114, 112, very close game. They got it right down to the edge.
Yeah, lots of lead changes, you know?
That's what I love about basketball, right? Like you can have such an intense kind of game, and it just comes down to the final shot, right? With like where the pressure is and who's shooting that, and with the positioning, right? So
The games are fun are the games that you can that they're competed like
100%.
back to
And that's
back.
what I want to see with the All-Star game, but I don't think we'll see that.
No, what do you think?
Defense was good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good games? Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Rockets versus Grizzlies.
Oh,
119.
Heat versus Spurs.
Oh,
Actually.
Heat versus Spurs.
We're
I
talking
apologize.
Heat versus Spurs, right? So the score was 105 to 102. Bam Adebayo and Scary Terry.
Scary Terry.
Bam Adebayo and Scary Terry leading the pack. Right, it was a pretty solid game. Lots of lead changes as well. The Spurs didn't have Wemby this game. Very unfortunate. I don't know the reason, but he didn't have it. But CP3 was trying to carry. CP3 was carrying, but it wasn't enough. You know.
And what do you guys think? Like, why do you think he was deficient in that? Just because he's relying too much on Wemby for these kind of alley-oops and all these plays?
I think so. Because Wemby, he's like, if you look at it, yeah, you have Jeremy Sohan, you have all these other players, but Wemby's like more of the like playmaker, more
He's
than
like a
Yeah, he's
keystone.
also a good defensive with 7 feet, 4 blocks average.
Is he still the stat leader for this season?
yeah.
Okay. Regardless, but I think definitely CP3. Like, I like that matchup, and I wish we had that in Lob City with like prime CP3. But in terms of this game specifically, who came away with the win again? It was the
So the Miami Heat came with a Heat win, and it was like a back and forth game. It was very, very solid.
Ended on a buzzer beater.
Buzzer
Game
beater.
winner.
Who got that one?
Bam.
Damn. Okay.
Adebayo.
Okay.
What was the play?
He's going crazy.
What
It
was
was
the
a
play?
19-foot mid-range.
19 foot
19
Oh,
foot
he's just
mid-range.
refusing to shoot a three. He's like, nah, I'm gonna shoot this. That's
Unbelievable.
actually crazy. In terms of that game, though, what do you guys think was a key takeaway? We talked about 3-point percentage last game. Do you think it was the same thing this game?
It was definitely intensity. Like it was so close, back and forth. It was from the beginning. It was like from the get go. It was at the beginning for the first quarter. Yes, it was like a 10-point game, and then second quarter they just switched up, and the Heat were losing actually, and then they switched up and they were like winning and tying. So it was pretty much like 2 seconds left, and he made that shot. So.
And I think Jimmy Butler was at that game too, right? With the suspension.
He's still suspended indefinitely.
Yeah.
Indefinitely, so there's no timeline or anything set right now.
Bro, come on, why you slap?
Well, these guys are missing
That's
flights, bro. It's
right.
expensive when they're
Bro.
missing these games. Regardless, I definitely think the intensity, you're definitely right. I kind of wish that Bam Adebayo got more kind of recognition for the player he is. Because even though he's a little bit undersized, he definitely has that presence.
Bro, he
intensity.
dropped a double, 30 and 12 rebounds.
And those double doubles don't go appreciate enough, bro. Like these like points and rebounds, like these guys are hustling in the paint, right? You're kind of trying to get these boards, and that's what we love. No, you mentioned defense, right? Previously, you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, defense is good. Yeah, so the intensity comes from the defense, right? That's where it roots from. So it's exciting to see that. Any thoughts for the player of the game that game?
Bam.
Yeah, Bam.
Straight Bam.
All right. So that wraps up our Court Vision here. Court Vision is something that we will be continuing on. If you have any games that you want us to watch and comment on, put them in the comments below or send us a DM on Instagram. With that, we'll move on to our next segment and begin our break. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Talking Buckets TV. If you're joining us now, we are starting our Stat Central station here, and we have our top 5 plays, our stat leaders, and our players of the week. So I think you can start taking us away.
Alright, so we're doing stat sweep, right? So the averages about the week. So we got starting off with points with SGA, who has 32.4 points. Pretty solid.
7 seasons.
Trae Young with 11.5 assists. He's averaging that like crazy. Domantas Sabonis with 14.4 rebounds, right? And that includes defensive and offensive. We got steals. Dyson Daniel averaging 3. He's averaging 3 steals a game, which is insane.
That's a lot.
Insane. We got Wemby, right, with 4 blocks.
The alien.
Listen, bro, it's been 4 weeks since he's been on our podcast, and from that 4 weeks, he's been dominating every single week on this blocking streak. Now, it's very clear that the reason he's doing this well is because he's been on our podcast.
100%.
There's not a doubt in my mind.
No
It's not
doubt.
the fact that he's 7 feet tall and he's been training and playing basketball for his entire life. It's because he was on our podcast.
Yes,
so if
sir.
any other NBA players want to be part of our podcast
Yes, sir.
and overall increase their defensive ability and
Yes,
overall
sir.
just improve their game, let us know. Send us a DM. Call me. I don't care.
We have room.
Yeah, we have plenty of room. You can stand in the back here. Or I'll get you a chair. It doesn't really matter. Regardless, time to take it away.
Alright, so moving on, we have Tom Thibodeau with the Knicks, right? He's draining the minutes. He has Mikal Bridges working overtime, 38.3 minutes a game.
That's dropped since last week, 38 by
Thank
36
God.
before.
Which still, that's only 10 minutes from a full game.
Yeah.
Minutes menace, bro.
Bro,
This guy's
stamina is crazy.
This guy got them doing like burpees at like half hour or something, brothers.
And the last one, right? Most favorite stat ever, turnovers.
Yeah.
Wanna talk about that?
You know, James Harden once again, the beard, 4.6.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. We're so happy to have you. You know, we're happy to have you on the show to give you some tips in terms of improving your performance. Regardless, let's move on to our top 5 plays.
Let's go.
Starting 5.
Yeah. Alright, starting 5, we got top 5. We got Mikal Bridges block against Jaren Jackson Jr., which is insane because Jaren Jackson Jr. is a center and Mikal Bridges is a small forward or shooting guard.
Crazy.
So,
Our fans are not casuals. They know the
That's
performance
insane.
is.
then 4, we have LeBron James.
Yes! LeBron James.
LeBron James with a fast break slam against the Wizards. The entire team, probably.
Decimated.
He's
No
just a
regard for
guy.
human life.
Just
He's like that
came, man. Anyways, in 3rd place we got Nikola Jokic clutch 3-pointer and decisive floater against 76ers
To take the win.
to take the win.
I like that word. I like that. Good job.
And in 2nd place, right, we have Jason Tatum's game winner jumper.
We did it!
And last but not least, the most favorite, right? The best game ever, the best player ever. We got LeBron James with the half-court shot against the Wizards.
Very nice.
Bro made a dunk and a half-court shot in the
One
same
It
game.
was in our top 5 plays twice. Guess who made the list this week? All right.
Honorable mention for this week is Ronnie James got 5 points in the.
As well.
No, he's rage baiting, bro.
A tough N1.
That's what I'm saying. That was gonna talk about. If we're gonna talk about a highlight from Ronnie James, bro, we gotta talk about his dunk, bro. Like, that was clean. That was clean.
That was.
I'm not gonna talk about his 5 points, but his dunk
Yo,
was
we're
tough.
not talking about the G League right now.
Regardless,
Yeah,
if you guys don't see that in the segment, we
Bro's
talk
been
about
in the G League. Relax. Alright,
Regardless.
moving on. Let's go on to the player of the week. So we got, in the West, we got SGA with 38.7 points per game this week, with 1.7 rebounds and 9 assists.
Holy
So, bro, almost averaging a double-double.
it. Very nice.
He probably
Right.
is doing it in game, but he's averaging that. It's crazy. Then in the East, we have Giannis Antetokounmpo with 30 points, 12 rebounds, and almost 13 rebounds, and 6 assists per game.
Holy, this guy's averaging a double-double this last week. Ooh,
Well, this
Bro's
guy's like that for.
insane.
If we look at the 2 players, and then we talked about this last week too, where do you rank them overall in their franchises respectively? So where do you rank Giannis in the Bucks franchise, and where do you rank SGA in the
OKC. Okay, let's do.
Bucks? Is easy.
Giannis first.
Bucks is easy.
That's
Okay.
Bucks.
He's like
Bucks is easy.
Well,
Okay.
you have to think about Bucks. Bucks had
Kareem,
Wait, you gotta look at their
Kareem,
contributions.
Ray Allen.
Ray Giannis.
Dude, look at their contributions.
Ray Allen's below
Yeah.
Giannis.
Yeah, so like
I think
he's
Giannis
third.
has
like
second.
top third,
Yeah, it's
top three.
Giannis is 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I think
Top
he's-
three
I
at
think
least.
top three.
I might even put him at 1. I don't even know.
Nah.
Yeah,
Who you got over on 1?
Kareem.
It was 1.
Big Oscar Robertson.
How many did
And-
you get with, how many championships did you get with,
I don't know. Actually, I don't know the stats.
Who? Giannis?
no, Kareem.
I don't.
I don't know. I have to.
I don't think
check.
he did any.
I'm not
So
too
why are we
sure.
putting one over Giannis?
Because
No,
Kareem
but
is
his
trash.
contribution-
Okay, but look at
His
the legacy of,
contribution-
yeah.
his
What are you guys
legacy-
talking about?
Contribution
legacy-
What's his legacy? What are you talking about, bro?
He's helped out so much in the Bucks. Otherwise, the Bucks wouldn't be known if Kareem Abdul-Jabbar
He
wasn't
has-
on the
he
team.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. top
Bro,
50.
but okay, listen. I understand he's a Hall of Famer, but that's his career with the Lakers, right?
Yeah,
you guys
yeah.
are founding the
He
Lakers.
started
career.
off with the Bucks. The
Yes,
Bucks
but that's the
wouldn't
same
be-
thing as saying, like, for example, Paul George played with. I guess that's a good point.
But okay, let's go back into the
I'm
main
putting him
topic.
on one.
Name topic. What is it? In top 3, right? We got
He's definitely
Oscar, Kareem, Oscar Robinson, and Giannis.
Giannis.
Where do we put Giannis? 1,
Giannis
2,
is
3.
at 1.
I put Giannis, in my opinion, at 3.
Giannis is at
1,
1.
2,
Kareem is
and
2.
2.
Giannis, Kareem, Oscar Robertson. That's the only correct
Giannis
order.
is
You can
at
argue
2.
with me in the comments. I don't really care.
Alright, moving on. We have SGA.
It's a little more difficult. Now, keep in mind, we're talking about legacy. So right now, in my opinion,
I'll give you the top 5,
He's
right?
Go.
not on the top
We
3.
have KD. Well, he's not. That's not the right order. I'm just stating players. KD, Russ,
Alright.
Sean Kemp,
Sean Kemp, and Gary Payton.
What more?
Ray Allen,
Ray Allen.
Ray Allen. There's a
Russ.
lot. There's a lot. Ray Allen.
Paul George.
Paul
Okay.
George, yeah, not
not
Paul.
as a legacy as a guy.
Carmelo
obviously.
Anthony.
Nah.
Bro, I mean, this guy's talking about ultra dimensions, bro. I know he played for him, but I was like, what?
Alright, well, here's the top 5, right? Where do we put Shea in top
Okay,
5?
who's your number 1 OKC player ever?
Ross.
Russ.
Russ?
Yeah.
Russ. Number 2,
KD.
KD.
Sean Kemp.
You're not putting Sean Kemp over KD.
Okay, KD.
They're like the same height.
Yeah.
Okay,
KD
number-
is 2.
Number
Okay.
3,
Gary
Shea.
Payton. I put Gary
Shea?
at
Shea.
3.
Are you tripping, bro? He hasn't. It's his first like main season with OKC.
Shea.
What are you
I
talking
think-
But
about?
like he's been performing well for past 2 seasons, but he hasn't done anything. Like he's taken them to like the second round. Yeah, but I don't think he's done anything to like contribute. He hasn't done like.
You got like
worse
recency
than-
bias, dog. Like, what's
Alright. So, first, Russ. Second, KD.
Yeah.
James
Third,
James Harden, what are you talking about?
Carmelo is good with the Rockets. We'll leave
This guy's rage bro. What are you doing?
Carmelo is good with the Knicks. We'll leave those 2. Alright. Paul George was good with the Pacers.
Yeah.
Alright. So Russ, KD, Gary Payton,
I would do Gary Payton. Man. Gary
Sean Kemp,
How many
and
can
Shea.
have with the?
Payton. Sean Kemp. I put
Let's
Ray
remember
Allen.
this. I don't think they won any championships.
Oh yeah.
Ever. None of them have.
I thought the Seattle Supersonics won, didn't they?
We'll have to fact check that.
We'll have to fact
Regardless, I don't think Shea's like a
And
top.
remember, Russ didn't win a championship with.
I know
Russ-
championship doesn't like.
KD
prove
has it, right? So legacy wise, Russ is up there, KD's up there, Payton's up there, Sean Kemp and Shea.
I don't know if I put Shea above Ray Allen.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I don't know.
Where Ray Allen spent most of his career, was it?
Nah, he was on Celtics. He
Bucks.
was on Bucks. Bucks was a little bit. He was on Miami. Miami was his key one.
That's
Yeah,
what he
and then
was.
Seattle
That
Supersonics.
Yeah, I think he started off with them or
Yeah.
one of them. I don't think Ray is like that big with the legacy wise.
Yeah,
He's more of a Heat, right? Like you're thinking of Heat. He's like
that's true.
That's
Because I'm
Ray
thinking the
Allen.
Charlotte, Chris Bosh, and all that. Overall, I think that's a solid overall.
So top 5?
Top
Here?
5, yeah. Yeah, I still say Giannis would probably be number 1 given his contributions, but overall, not mad with that. What else we got Stat Central?
Dream the dream.
Is that pretty much it? Wraps it up?
That's it.
Yep.
All right, so moving on, we'll be talking about the People's Choice. Beautiful hot takes by you guys. You're getting really creative, and we'll definitely be touching on those now. If you have any other games you want us to analyze, or if you have any stats you want us to talk about, put them in the comments below, and we'll be right back after this short break.
Welcome back to the People's Choice. In this time, we're gonna do the hot take debate that you guys commented on the story.
Very nice, Hunter. Thank you very much. So we got a couple of great hot takes, specifically relating to Luka going to the LA. We got a couple really crazy takes about generational players, and overall, we talked about probably the question for you guys: who is the only player that you played any generation in NBA history.
Mm-hmm.
So,
LeBron James.
we'll touch on that in just a moment here. First, hot take here. Jamal Murray is the best point guard of the 2020s decade. Thumbs up or down?
Okay, guys, I'm sorry to say this, but he is not. He was. Don't get me wrong. He was balling during the bubble. He was balling after when they won the championship, and then he fell off.
Given that it's currently a game of point guards, it's really hard to say who's the greatest unless they're performing outright just amazingly every single game.
Bro, like Shea.
Yeah,
Shea is literally.
We're definitely biased because that's what we've been talking about for the 4 weeks. But in terms of the greatest point guard, it has to be undisputed. Like if you're gonna make that claim, it has to be very easily. In terms of overall performance, he's definitely an amazing point guard. He has great contributions to the team, but how is he really standing out, making a case for best point guard rather than just being a good player?
Yeah,
So-
so you also like Jokic.
Yeah.
Jokic is that guy, you know. Jokic got his assists.
7-foot point guard.
7-point point guard. Moving on, we talked about this during our Stats Central or Court Vision. Jason Tatum has the case to become the greatest small forward of all time. We touched on this before. I think we all disagree with that. Just given, I'm just talking about before, you need to be so much more versatile than Jason Tatum to be in that small forward category because you already have players like
Kevin Durant.
7th grade.
LeBron.
LeBron.
But yeah, because those players are just top caliber.
Because
Hall of Famer.
you gotta realize that it's like heavy dominant. Like to be a small forward, you need to be good in the paint and good while shooting. So it's like he's good in shooting, more so he can get bodied easily in the paint. Like he can't dunk over like a lot of bigger players. Well, he can, he probably can, but it's like, is it easy for him to do that? Probably not.
It's not to be easy.
It's a little harder. He's like average height, so it's gonna be like
Average, he's like 6'9". What are you
Yeah,
talking?
for the NBA.
Okay.
Let me.
He's 6'5" or something, right?
He's 6'5"? Okay, maybe he's average.
Yeah, for the NBA, he's an
6'6"
average
or
height, so
something.
I don't think he can dunk over like players like
No, he's
Nikola
6'5".
Jokic and like these taller players. Like,
Yo, you start jumping, bro. You don't have to worry about him getting dunked over.
yeah.
Regardless, I
Good
don't
job.
think it's a crazy take. I think the Jamal Murray take was a little bit crazier because Jamal Murray.
Yeah.
No offense.
He's Canadian.
He's
Respect the
amazing. He's an
Canadian.
amazing player. Okay, still. But regardless, Jason Tatum, I think he has a case to make it. Just right now, we're still in the preliminary phases of his career, right? He's still making a name for himself. But if you look at all-time greatest like small forwards and stuff, that they consistently did well every single season and just proved their dominance over time. Moving on, the Luka trade, right? The hot take itself asked us what are our thoughts on the Luka trade, and we addressed that at the beginning of the podcast. But now that we've talked about it and we've reflected on it over the breaks and overall with the show, do we think,
Do you think it's a good trade or bad trade?
yeah, if it's a good trade, we your thumb up, bad trade?
Nah, good trade. You can disagree.
No, the reason,
like I don't know if I do good trade, bad trade. It's
I-
like for me.
I
like
think
said,
it's in terms of the trade. I think it's just exciting. I think it's a good trade for media, and I think it's a good trade for fans because you get to see it mixed up. In terms of if it's a good trade overall for the players, I don't know for sure because now the Lakers are in desperate need for a big man. You have AD who's a little bit more injury prone on Kyrie's team, and Kyrie maybe you get to see a nice mesh well there. But I think it's very exciting for the media and for the fans. And now we get to see LeBron with Luka. That's something really exciting. Kyrie with AD. But I think it's a great trade in terms of NBA kind of pop culture itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like media terms, yeah, great,
Yeah.
great trade. Playing players term, I don't know. I put that in the middle because I can't really say anything right now.
Yeah, we haven't seen anything.
Well,
right?
let's make our predictions, guys. Who do you think won the trade right off the bat?
Lakers.
Lakers.
No,
Yeah.
wait. No.
Are you sure?
Lakers,
I think
if
Mavs
Lakers
might do
find
it.
a proper big man for their team, then I'd say Lakers.
You can't
I
say.
think Mavs might. Well, forget about the big man. Let's talk about the present. After the trade, I think that the Mavs might have a better fit because AD can now play a power forward, which he likes to do,
It's true.
and then Kyrie can play point guard, which he also likes to do. So it's like a good mesh because they both can score a good amount, and then like they both have their own roles. Whereas like when they I'm not saying they were bad, but when you have Luka and Kyrie, it was like they're both ball dominant and they're both point guards. So it was a little like tug and war between like who's gonna take the final shot. It's most likely going to Luka, right? And so I think it's good like that. So they have two separation, and so they can still do their own thing. Whereas like when you think with the Lakers one, Luka and LeBron are both. LeBron's more of a pass first kind of guy now, right?
No, he's always been like that.
Yeah, like he likes passing. So if you see the shot, if you see the open shot, he'll definitely pass to Luka. So it's not that the team won't do as good, but it's just the Mavs will probably do better just because of the way the players they got and how they fit.
I agree. In terms of the actual trade itself, I think Lakers won because they got generational talent, right? They got Lucas. You guys forget he dropped 70 points last season,
Yes.
right, in the game, right? So he's definitely a generational talent. In terms of the better fit for the teams, I think the Mavs are going to be a better overall structured team. So we talked about this a lot in the podcast before. Because basketball's not really about a player-to-player matchup. It's more so team-to-team, right? How are these teams kind of comparing? Because right now, if the two teams play, I'm strongly believing that Mavs are going to win that game. Whether it be close or kind of blow, it doesn't really matter. Just because overall now you have Kyrie, Luka, and all these kind of players, but you also have AD at the big, where the Lakers don't have a big. So as long as they can fill that slot, I think it's definitely good. But now you have Klay Thompson coming off the bench and starting, and I think that's a good thing. And it gives him the opportunity to kind of gain that confidence back because we don't really know what happened after the
I
injury.
forgot about Klay.
Yeah, exactly. So he has the opportunity to do well. And now you have someone like Kyrie who's able to facilitate that and kind of give him the ball when he needs it. Amazing opportunity.
Yo, that's
Yeah,
actually
that's
solid.
very solid.
I forgot
It's a
Klay.
full team. And a lot of people hate him. Like, it's very hard to come back after these Achilles injuries, right? These knee injuries and all that, whatever he had. And I really hope to see him kind of perform with the same amazement that he had before, right? Because he's
Splash bro.
yeah, bro. He has like I hate to keep using this word, but generational talent. But in terms of like one of the greatest shooters of all time, you have that player with someone who's like a ball player like Kyrie and a big man like AD, right? So a lot of songs they can say how
Also
confidence. It's an underrated trade. Like I think it's a win-win most of the time.
I think it's actually a good fit.
Yeah.
Alright.
Kyrie, Klay Thompson, and AD. Ooh, that's a
It's a silent big trade. All right. Moving on. This is something I thought about. I thought it was really interesting. Who do you guys think? We'll talk about the people's choice later. Who do you guys think is the only player or one of the players that can play in any era? Now, I'm not talking about you take someone, you let them train in that era, then you play again. I'm talking about you take someone from their current timeline and just put them in
To this timeline.
to whatever timeline. So you can
So
take
if I take,
LeBron
like-
and put in Jordan's era. You can put Wilt in our era. It has to be immediate. My personal pick, the pick I think will only be the best viable option. Very simple. Prime Shaq. Prime Shaq could play in any era. And I'm not talking about like older Shaq is a little bit slower. He's still a menace to society, but in terms of Prime Shaq who is fit, who was able to run and kind of keep up, the only issue he might have would be with the pacing conditioning of the game. But I think his overall dominance in terms of the paint and all that would be much more beneficial. He could play in today's game for sure, no problem at all. He played in his time. He definitely played back in the day with like Wilt and those players like that. And just because he has that overall presence and dominance, and that's something we haven't seen pretty much any player regardless.
Also to know, like he retired like early 2000s, so he's played in like the current really.
So he knows like a feel
like,
for it.
he knows he's played with Dwayne Wade, he played with LeBron, right?
Yeah. So you got a feel for the game. What do you guys think?
That's a good.
LeBron.
LeBron. That was a very popular.
I think Wilt.
Wilt?
I know Wilt. Like he can't. He's like this NBA now is like 3-point shooting. He's not really like he could be like I don't know how his 3-point shooting was, but I think like his fit on like if you were to go back, let's say on Golden State like he was before, I think he would be good in this era.
I think it'd be good because I feel like his conditioning and overall strength is really good too. That's not increasing.
Bro was like an Olympic athlete.
Yeah,
he was like crazy.
Well, if what they say is true, then yes. 500-pound bench press hours. That's not crazy. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Shaq would take it over.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it has to be prime Shaq because I don't think his pacing would keep up with the current thing, like I mentioned before. But no, what do you think?
LeBron James.
LeBron.
Good choice. Very good choice.
I'm very agrees with you. And in terms of what you guys submitted too, very solid picks. We had players like LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, KD. Someone I'm surprised didn't make the list, Michael Jordan. People didn't mention Michael Jordan because I spoke to someone and they said that Michael Jordan would average 50 points a game in today's NBA. You guys don't agree?
No, I agree.
You agree with me?
I agree.
I think 50 points a game is a bit of a stretch.
It's a bit of a stretch.
I think in one game.
Yeah,
No,
okay,
average.
bro, 100% one game.
Yeah, one game, yeah.
If we're talking about averaging versus one game.
I think
Average
maybe
about
like
20.
max 40.
No,
Max-
I don't think
max
that-
40?
That's too,
I think he's in the
25.
30. I think he's in 30, 40 range. Bro, you have to see that. Okay, listen.
He's averaging at least 25.
Listen. Michael Jordan, bro. Just because you guys are like young, you don't understand. I'm also young. I'm the same generation. I didn't see him play, but relax. Don't call me out in the comments, bro. Regardless, you need to understand that his game, Kobe modeled his game after Michael Jordan,
That's true.
and you saw how well Kobe did in this. I know he didn't average. He didn't average crazy. No, we're not talking about Kobe. Was
Kobe
a
averaged
generational player,
35,
right?
yeah.
So to say that Michael Jordan, the original, wouldn't be able to do well in this game is ridiculous. Because one, he was strong.
Yeah.
His conditioning was good.
Yeah.
Sure, he didn't have the 3-point, right? I'll give you that. He didn't have the 3-point, but you don't need the 3-point to be a defensive monster, or sorry, offensive monster in this game.
He's mostly paint more.
Right, yeah. So, given that the centers are smaller now, right, and they're less big, I don't think it's crazy to say he'd average at least 40 points a game, right? And obviously, he needs a supporting team. He needs Scottie Pippen and all these other players, but there's different players that step up to that plate. So I don't think he'd average 50 necessarily.
That's.
But I think in the neighborhood
35.
of 30, 35, I
Yeah,
think that's not
that's
crazy.
solid.
Yeah, even if you're pushing 40, I don't think it'd be crazy.
Yeah, that's solid.
All right, and then there's one more player. He played overseas, right? Played overseas in Kuwait for a little bit. I think he played in any era if you really wanted. His name's Moise Qureshi. This guy right here. I can play in any era I wanted.
I
You
can-
understand?
I-
I can play in any era.
I can also play in any
Yeah, I
era
can play in any era I wanted.
I
Doesn't
can-
mean have to be good, but I'll play in any era. All right. So that concludes our People's Choice segment. Thank you so much for your submissions. We look forward to hearing from you guys this week as well. If you have anything else you want us to include, any questions you want us to include, more than happy to hear it. And let's move on to our final segment, Draft Wars.
Let's go.
Welcome back to Draft Wars.
Thank you very much, Noah. Time to take it away.
Alright, welcome back to Draft Wars, everyone. Today we will be doing a all-star draft. Alright, so we're using the starters and reserves. We're going to be using the same format as the actual all-star draft done by Shaq, Charles Barkley, and Kenny the Jet Smith. Alright?
Right.
So how it works is we're going to be going to starters only for the first round. Everyone chooses starters, and then we'll take a little break and move on to reserves. Alright, and we're going to talk to our GMs. We have Amma, we have Moise, and we have Fawad.
My co-GM Noah here.
Alright, so let's get started. So with our first pick in the draft, Fawad Qureshi, you have your
LeBron James.
The GOAT, the legend, LeBron James.
LeBron James is off the table.
All right. For my first pick in the 2025 or 2024-2025 NBA All-Star Game, gotta go with one of the most dominant players of our time. Gotta go with Mr. Bucks, arguably one of the greatest Bucks players of all time, the Greek Freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Giannis Antetokounmpo is off the table.
Alright, so for my first pick, we're gonna go with, the tallest point guard, Mr. Joker.
Okay,
No,
very
that's
solid.
crazy.
You got me with that. I didn't know you were gonna.
Nikola Jokic is off the table.
For my second pick, should we? This one, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna take from the Suns, Mr. Warrior, Mr. Kevin Durant.
Very
The
solid.
Slim
pick.
Reaper, Kevin Durant, is off the table.
Surprised this is going so far. We talk about him on the show all the time, Mr. Oro. You have to take Shea as the number 2 pick for my guard position.
Shea Gillis Alexander is off the table.
Alright, so next I'm gonna go with the point guard. We're gonna do the chef, Mr. Four Rings, the owner of the Boston Celtics, Steph Curry.
That's what I'm talking
Mr.
about.
Steph Curry is off the table.
Solid.
All right.
With the third pick in the All-Star draft.
From the New York Knicks, we're taking Jalen Brunson.
Very solid.
Jalen Brunson is off the table.
Alright, moving on with my third pick, Mr. We Did It, Mr. Celtic. We gotta take Jason Tatum from the Celtics for my small forward position.
Jason Tatum is off the table. And so the remaining picks, we have Donovan Mitchell from the Cleveland Cavaliers and Karl Anthony Towns from the New York Knicks. It is your choice.
So for my next pick, we're gonna go with the taller player of the two, Mr. Kit Kat, Karl Anthony Towns.
Yes,
sir! You kicked that.
Good. Alright, so
The final pick goes to Fadi.
All right. No, so this is our final pick, okay? For our final pick, we're taking Mr. Spider Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell from the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Very solid.
Donovan Mitchell is off the table. Alright, so that wraps up all of the starters. Alright,
What's the next
so next we're going to be talking about the reserves. Alright,
All right. So, obviously, I get first pick.
Alright.
yeah, you
Yeah,
do.
I get
I'm
first
going to get second. Alright,
Beautiful.
so you choose whoever you want.
Is this really a question? Is this really a question? Who am I going to choose from the reserves to start my lineup? Who are we choosing?
This will be your starter, too.
Yeah,
It's part of your
it's
starter.
easy. It's the cheat code. It's the alien. Mr. 7-footer, Mr. Wee Wee. We got Victor Wembanyama coming on my team here.
Victor Wembanyama is off the table. Amo, what
Alright.
would you like?
My next pick, we're gonna go with the shooting guard position, Mr. Orange Wristband from Luca the Kid, Anthony Edwards.
I
Oh.
wanted that pick, bro. I wanted that pick.
Anthony
Wow.
Edwards is off the table.
You should have done that first then.
Alright, Milad, you have the first pick of your reserves.
The trade that just happened last night, we're going to be taking Mr. AD from the Dallas Mavericks.
Ooh,
Very solid
Dallas
pick.
Mavericks. Anthony Davis is off the table. Alright, now to the second pick in the reserve draft.
Alright, so I gotta look at my team here. A couple of my picks got taken away.
We
So-
still have one pick left for the starters, for you
Mhm.
two, and then we'll move on to the bench.
In terms of a position I need, I definitely need a guard. And all the point guards are taken, but
No.
who's left? Oh, we got Darius Garland, Kate Cunningham. I
No.
think with my guard position,
Good picks.
I'm gonna take the Celtic to get the overall. You know what? We're gonna take Damian Lillard as my guard position. We're gonna take Dame Dollar.
It's a nice pick.
Damian Lillard is off the table.
Alright, for my last pick, we got my small forward. We're gonna go with Cade Cunningham.
Cade Cunningham
Very
is
solid pick.
off the table. Alright. Mr. 50 point.
For our first bench pick, we're going to be taking from the Cleveland Cavaliers, Darius Garland.
Very solid backcourt. Solid backcourt player. Darius Garland is off the table.
I'm gonna take another big, just so you guys have no one to take. Arguably, could be one of the greatest bigs in our game today. Doesn't get enough recognition. Playing for the Rockets right now. Give me Sengun. I gotta take Sengun.
Alperen Sengun is off the table. You left out Jaren Jackson Jr.
That's fine.
That was a
Sengun.
great center.
I like Sengun.
Great center. And Evan Mobley? How are you doing this?
I like Sengun more.
What is wrong with you?
Arguably one of the greatest centers in our league.
Evan Mobley go crazy. Anyways,
That's done.
alright, now moving on to a bench.
Alright, so for my bench, we're gonna start off with Evan Mobley.
Great pick.
Very solid pick.
Great
You
pick.
know, I'm surprised.
No, he was on DPOY.
I was able to pick up all the bigs, but that'd be funny.
Alright, so Evan Mobley is off the table.
From the Grizzlies, JJJ, Jaren Jackson
See,
Jr.
they're taking up the centers.
Hey, bro, I already have 3 centers on my
Taking
team.
the
I'm okay. Alright, moving on. We gotta keep it kind of tight. We gotta make sure that we got that overall defensive presence. Gotta give it to Mr. Jaylen Brown. We like that pick. For
Solid pick.
Let's go with the PG position. Why not?
Solid pick. Solid pick.
Alright, next we're gonna go with Tyler Hero at the small forward position for my backup.
I know what to do. I know what to do.
Okay, Tyler Hero. You know,
But-
there's been some snubs, but Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero.
He's
LaMelo
been
Ball-
cooking this season. Huh?
LaMelo Ball should have been here. Anyways, I'm not part of this. Alright. So,
So, for our third pick for the bench, we're taking Mr. Beard from the Grizzlies, James
Mr.
Harden.
Turnover, yeah. Mr. Turnover, yeah. Solid pick, solid pick. All right. in terms of my picks, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 picks in total.
So
this would
last
be my
pick.
final pick. You know what? Let's go with some more size. Mr. Spin City, former Raptor. Gotta choose him.
Oh.
Pascal Siakam from the Pacers.
Crazy.
Spicy P.
Pascal is off
He
the
goes right
table.
Alright. Only player left, but still a great player, Jalen Williams from the Thunder.
Solid pickup.
Solid.
I guess it's still-
He's a really young guy, right? So he's still fine. Alright.
Right.
So that wraps up the draft. Everyone has 8 players on their team. We have 5 starters and 3 bench. Let's go through and see which team has the best. I'm gonna start off.
Alright, so for my point guard position, we got Mr. Chef, we got Steph Curry. Shooting guard, we got Mr. Edwards, Mr. Dominant, Anthony Edwards. Small forward, we got Cade Cunningham. Power forward, we got Kit Kat, Karl-Anthony Towns. Center, we got the Joker. And then for my backups, we got Tyler Hero, Jalen Williams, and Evan Mobley.
That's a solid team.
Solid.
That's a
Very
solid
young.
Solid team.
Solid team.
Very young
I
guys.
kind of underestimated your bigs. Moving on to my team here. For point guard, we have Dame Dollar, right? Gotta put some respect on his name. You know what? As my backup point guard, I'm gonna put JB. Moving on to our shooting guard, we got SGA. Moving on, small forward, Mr. We Did It. We got Jason Tatum. Now this is where I really shine. This is where I really shine. For my power forward, I got Victor Wembanyama as my power forward.
Okay.
That's a diabolical pick.
1B.
Then, as my backup power forward, we have possibly one of the greatest bigs in our game right now, Sengun from the Rockets. And finally,
He has potential. He has
to
potential.
wrap it up, we have for my center, the Greek freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
It's a nice lineup.
Solid
Nice
lineup.
lineup.
Alright, and for your last All-Star team.
So for our point guard, we got Jalen Brunson, Darius Garland. For shooting guard, we got Donovan Mitchell and James Harden.
I'm the
Alright.
backup.
For small forward, we got LeBron.
Brownie.
For power forward, we got Kevin Durant.
That's a diabolical
For
pick.
center, we got Anthony Davis. And for backup, we got Jaren Jackson Jr.
Very solid team. I think
Crazy.
they must even they bit.
Crazy
Okay.
teams. I mean, they're pretty. You only have a certain amount of players, so it's pretty solid.
Exactly. So comment down below what you guys think is going to do the best. We're going to try to simulate these in another video for you guys to see who actually wins. And let us know your thoughts for the All-Star game coming up. What do you want to see from the All-Star game? Do you want it to be more competitive? Do you like how it's laid out? If you do, your opinion is not valid. Regardless,
Do you like the skill challenge?
if you like the skill
Do you
challenge.
like the dunk contest?
Regardless,
Who should be in the dunk contest?
who do you think should be in the dunk contest?
Zion Williamson.
That
Actually, released
I don't see
in the
that.
dunk
Did
contest.
they? Is he?
Not Zion. It's I know one of them, Matthias Bazalis. I don't know if I'm saying his last name right, but he's on the Bulls. I heard he's one of the contestants. There's a few other that I can't remember, but I remember he was one of the
Nice,
contestants.
nice.
Really excited to see that.
Black
We're definitely
McClung.
Matt
gonna-
McClung, so yeah.
He's
Matt
back?
McClung too.
Bro,
Of course,
two
of
top
course.
winners.
Trying to go back to
Three
back to
beats. Let's
back,
go! It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna
It's
be
gonna be
good.
fun.
Regardless, we thank you so much for joining us one more time on episode 4 of Talking Buckets TV. Hopefully, many more to come. And we thank you once again for giving us your attention and your viewership. So we thank you once again, and we will see you guys next week.
Let's go!